Okay, so I'm just going to start this off and just go with it. I don't know what I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to accomplish, really. I've thought I have a good idea, and then it never seems to work out quite so well as I think. And so I just go blah and forget it. So I've watched this video, a girl on YouTube, and she says, I don't want to be stupid anymore. I mean, that's what the words that she was using. I'm just thinking, what about this video makes me want to click on it? Makes me want to figure out why does she feel this way? What's she doing? Why is she? What steps is she taking to make this happen? What is going on? Does she really feel this way, or is it just something that somebody like triggered in her, and she's got to figure out? It's like those kinds of things like trigger in my mind. Like what is it about? And then I see, okay, this person has this video has gotten a lot of views compared to the subscriber count. I think that's always a good indication that you have a good video. If you have like a subscriber count and your videos get a fraction of the views, like there's people who have like 100,000, 100 million subscribers, and yet they'll only get like 5 million views, and or something like that. And I've typically found myself not clicking on more video of even subscribers that I have. It's like I'll have my subscriber list and I won't even click on the videos that I see. It's like no, not today, or yeah, I won't ever click on them. Like there's so many. Like there's a few out there that they pop up and I click, but it's very few. It's like what makes me want to click on something like, consistently, and like why do I subscribe? Why do I not subscribe? It's like I don't want somebody to subscribe to me. I don't care. I don't care if you do or not. It's like right now it's not gonna do any good for me. It's like I want view counts. I think view counts is far more important than subscribers. And I like I say, I'm looking at this video going, what is it that's compelled? It's obviously compelled other people to want to click on it. It's like they see it and they go, oh, what is it? There's something about the desire, like what makes somebody want to click on a video. And I'm sure people have dug into this, but it's like, do I want people to know about me, the thoughts in my head? Do I want people to think, hey, like this person actually has something I want to engage with. I want to figure it out. I want to learn. I want to know. I want to what is it? Compelling, something compelling, but you don't want it to be like too fantastic because then there's disappointment. They click and then they go, oh well, yeah, okay, whatever. I clicked, it was intriguing, but yeah, whatever, drop off. But then it's like I like the people that engage and they think differently. They think differently. Like this one, the video that I'm mentioning, it's like she feels like she wants to think more critically. Feels like she should be able to. And it's like something's woken up to be more along those lines. Like she can, and it's she should. I'm trying to remember what she said exactly, so I'm not putting words in her mouth. But like a lot of this is how I am interpreting it, how I'm reading it, and I'm not trying to like analyze somebody else. That's not what but it's just like, what is it that makes somebody click? That's the more important thing to me. It's like, how do you get somebody to consistently want to click on your video without being clickbait, without being disappointment? Because that's to me is what a clickbait is. A bait is something that like catches the fish, and then the fish is disappointed. They think they're getting a worm, and then they're disappointment because they catch the hook. They get hooked in. It's like that's a disappointment. So it's like that's to me is like the parameters for something that's clickbait is You click on it and you go like, oh, it's not even what they advertised, or it's not even what they, or it didn't fulfill on a promise. And I think this is all weird ideology to think it this way in my head, because it's not that, it's really not that sophisticated. It's like, it can be just something you just feel like clicking on, and you go like, oh, it actually fulfills on the promise that it it is an interest, like something that's interesting, and also makes me go, I want to learn more about what this person has to say. I'm not good at any of that. I'm not good at promoting myself in that way, or figuring out those kinds of things. But I can analyze my own like process. Like what is it that makes somebody click on these? What can I do to make people want to click on my stuff? And I just, do I want people to click? And do I feel like if they do click and they do feel they are they going to be now he has to fulfill every time he makes something, okay, like he better be putting out stuff that's actually engaging and makes me wants to know what they have to say. And there's other people out there that they don't think this deeply about it at all. They just keep putting out stuff, and people are just like, yeah, I like this. He doesn't even put any thoughts into it. Just boom, boom, boom. The lazy stuff sometimes can be the more entertaining, because that's ultimately what it's for. It's like entertainment. It's like it's a distraction from the problems that are going on in my own life. And it's like, from some point of view, it's not that your problems are all that problematic. It's like, comparatively to real problems, what are fake problems, real problems? It's like, whatever. Most people don't have severely difficult problems. There are people that do, though. There are people they've just found out they have some terminal illness. That's a real problem. There's people out there who have like lack of ability to eat, or they don't know where they're going to get their next meal. They don't know where they're going to get their next whatever safe place to stay, to camp at night, or whatever it may be. It's like those are real problems. And it's like a lot of people that they really don't have those kinds of problems. Like, the problems they have are more mental in their head, and a lot of these mental problems, they're real. But they're personal. It's like, if it was somebody else doing the same thing, they wouldn't have the problem at all, because it's like they can see it better from it's a different perspective. You can see it, you can handle it. You don't even think of it as an issue or a problem, because it's like, oh, that's such an easy thing to work on. But for other people, it's really difficult. And so, like this girl that says, I don't want to be stupid anymore. It's like I just keep going to that and going, what is it I want? It's like, I want to be this engaging person that people like to be around me. Like, they want to, they see me as somebody that's easy to, what is the word? Easy to be with, easy to be around, affable, I guess. But not on the sense that they're popular. Like, popularity is kind of fits in that, but it's like, there are people who are they just always going for that those popular points, but they're doing things that I feel are like, I don't know, questionable, I guess it's the best word I can think of. It's just, without being specific about any particular person, because it's generalized. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like general what is it that makes people like this person versus this other person? That they get like likable as well, but they don't get the following that this other person does. I don't want to be the person that gets all the likes, gets all the popularity. I just want the people that do understand me, like they understand, they feel like, oh yes, I like this person, sees things and understands things and has things that are just, I feel like I want to either know, or I want to share, or I want to feel like it's like that's the kind of person I want to hang out with. I guess this for me is more like practicing those kind of things and saying, hey, I want those kinds of things. I want to know how to do those kinds. I want, without changing everything about myself. Or like, is there something that I can do simply that would portray those kinds of things and be what I want, like what I'm after? And I guess I'm trying to put this in a way that's like not a return on investment that's in, like, I want the most return for the little bit of effort, because I don't like that at all. I want to have something that I have to put effort into, but not so much that it changes everything where I have to constantly keep it going. It's like I want it to be able to put a lot of effort to make it go, and then it just keeps going. That's the kind of effort I would like. Not have to constantly feel like I'm climbing up this steep cliff all of the time. I feel like that's a lot of the problems that I deal with, are feeling like I'm climbing up this ginormous cliff that I can't quite get up. I'm just rambling. I have some things that I wanted to get off out of my head, out there. Maybe I'll get to them. Maybe I'll feel comfortable enough to go into these things. It's like, introducing myself. I'm David. Like, isn't that simple? I'm David. Well, yeah, you know my name. You can see it on my profile. You can see it. You could click on it. He's like, oh, well, I'm 48 years old. I've not had a lot of relationship experience. I don't know living with somebody in any constant, like, I don't want to go into like all the details. It's like, I feel like I'm like my brain is just like trying to focus on these one things and wants to go into explode into a whole bunch of details, and it's like, no, I don't need to explode all over in every sense. This is just, it gets too much. It's like oversharing. That's the word that is used a lot. It's like, some people like the oversharing, some people don't. Again, there's all these tangents. Like, just I want to grab onto the tangent instead of keeping on task. 48, not had a lot of dating experience. I could probably say I've only had one girlfriend. I don't know that it would be considered that way on the other side. Like, I don't know if she would consider me like I was a boyfriend for the period of time that we were seeing each other. It's like, usually people have a lot longer history before they even call themselves dating. They have all these like terms that they call it nowadays, and like, now we're in this, and now we're in this stage, now we're in this stage, now we're in it's like, we met online, we started talking, we started being more intimate online, and then I paid for her to come and see me, and we had like a week of being intimate together, and then she went back, and it was like, it lasted for a few more months after that. So in my mind, that was like the most, like the only girlfriend experience I've had in my life. Anything else doesn't even come close. I've had like other online where like you feel like you're really close, but then you don't really. know much about them. It's like if you if you don't meet people in person, you kind of lacks a lot of what's going on with that person. Like you I don't know how to put that in any other ways. Like so, it's broken me off of not wanting to meet people and chat where you don't actually see what they look like. You don't actually know what they are. Like I like to see their reactions. I like to see. Like I don't even like to make people friends on places where I don't know what they sound like. Or I don't know what they look like. I want to imagine their facial expressions when I'm thinking of talking with them, or when I'm like when I see them posting something. It's like, yeah, I can imagine them saying this because they've said things like that. It's like I don't. Again, getting too much into the oversharing. It's like the points I wanted to get to is like I really don't have much dating. But I'm not trying to date people. I don't want to make minimal. It's like I want to. It's like I feel like there should be like you meet somebody, you're friends with them, and then maybe if you feel like you're on those good terms with them as a friend, you can do more or make it into a more than friends kind of. That would be how I think things should be, an ideal situation. I don't think that's how things actually turn out all the time. I think it's a mad rush into a relationship, and then you're kind of like figuring out how do we actually like each other. Like we really felt like there's something there that clicked, and then it's just like, well, maybe not. How many people have had that? It's like it feels like it's so common. You fall out because you didn't really establish the right boundaries for what you were trying to get out of the situation. So they call them situationships because they're trying to figure out. That's like it's different words for like somebody you actually are interested in, but you're just like, well, we're going to test a situationship. It's like I'm befuddled by all these like terms that are coming. But that does describe how what people are going through. It's like they're having a lot of situationships with people. They don't want to make it commitment, but they want to test out. It's like people didn't do that. I'm not saying like, hey, we need to go back to the old times. We need to figure out like how there's a better way than what was in the past and what's going on now, because it's not working. Whatever it is, it didn't work out very well in the past. People felt locked into, like I would say, like in the past, historically, people felt locked into something that they didn't want to be in, or like they feel like if they could have broken out more easily, they would have, but didn't feel that easy, and so they felt like they were stuck with somebody that they didn't really like, they didn't even care for, and maybe they got over it and they developed, okay, well, we're stuck, we might as well make the most of it. Maybe I don't know what people felt like in the past. I feel like getting into a relationship felt like it was more of a, even just getting to know them was more of a commitment. You had to actually know that you really wanted to be with that person before you even got to that stage of trying to commit to even wanting to get to know them better. But then you also mostly dated people that were, you knew a lot about them anyways, because you either knew a lot about them already or you knew people who knew. So friend of friends kind of thing. I think something like that is kind of what we need to go, either like that part of it need to go back to, like establishing that friendship, establishing some, like, we like talking, we like conversating with each other, we know, like they're not going to be big surprises about this person. Like, that being said, there's always surprises, but it's like you get to know somebody in person. You know, okay, yeah, this person is actually a decent human being. They're decent with other people. They have good work ethic. They'll actually do what they say they're going to do. They're not what's the, like, it's like the very basis of what you think are bad traits in people. You know, like this person, well, they have this trait and this trait. I don't like that one or that one, but it's not a cutoff for it. You know, that makes me think of like people say icks. I have a lot of icks. It's like, well, let me turn on a lot of icks for you. And I'm like, have I had icks myself? And it's like, well, with this particular person, I found it like an ick. What it really was is a turnoff. And I think calling it turnoff instead of an ick, because there's icks like that are really gross, and like a lot of people would consider that like that is really gross. Yeah, no. And then there's turnoffs where it's like, well, just this particular instance, I didn't like it when it was going on with this person. Like for some reason, this person really turned me off when they did. But this other person, it's like they do the same thing, and it's like it's not a turnoff for me. It's like it doesn't have that effect on me. So it's not like the thing is a turnoff. It's like just from that particular person, or that particular incident was a turnoff. And I think people are kind of conflating those kind of things with icks, like, this person just did this thing and I just really find it turning. And it makes me wonder, it's like, if you have enough experience, you know that those same things that you find turning you off with this person really don't work from this other person. And so it's like, what do you really find that works for you? It's not the thing, it's like, it's usually the person that works for you. It's not the any of their habits, really. It's like some habits, yes, are definitely the real turnoffs. Like it's like anybody would do this thing and it would be a turnoff from anybody who does it. But I found that the people that it doesn't work that way, it's like you still feel something strong for them, even though you shouldn't. I put that way because different norms, different, like if you're in a religious sort of mindset, it's like this person doesn't have this same religion, so I shouldn't like them, kind of thing. It's like more like that. Or like in today's world, like all that they have a different political belief. I can't like them. I got to cut them off, even though I really find them attractive. I really like to be with them, but I can't because they have this political belief. Like that kind of thing is like is what I'm talking about. It's like, and yet you find that even though it should be a turnoff, it's not for this particular person. And it's like the person is what really does it for you, not the thing, not the whatever the list. I think, isn't that kind of what we should like test out and have enough experience? Like it's not the actual thing. It's like it had nothing to do with the actual thing. That because I just for an example, there was a girl I knew. I really liked her. Really thought she was really cute. She was and I just got lost in thought of trying to explain things. And I'm like, there was one time we were talking. I was like in a group of people. She was telling somebody else that she really couldn't understand fantasy, or couldn't understand people who like fantasy or science fiction. And it just like, my turnoff went, it's like today's day, that would be called an ick. Well, somebody who doesn't like fantasy, I can't like them. But it's not that they had to like it. It's like, there's something about that situation. And I've had that so many, there's like, this has been a turnoff, this has been a turnoff, this has been a turnoff. This has kept me pretty much on single. It's like I've been treating everybody like I'm looking for that turnoff, so I don't have to hook up with them, or I don't have to pursue them, I don't have to make anything work, or I don't put any effort into them. Like giving myself an excuse to not actually make it happen. Like why do I do that? Don't I want to be with somebody? Haven't I always wanted to be with somebody? It's like, why did I get turned off so many times? And it's like, in the girls that I did like and still liked, even though they had lots of things that I shouldn't have liked about them, it's like, they didn't want me back, or they had something that kept them back from making it happen. And so like those were the ones I wanted to pursue because I already knew it wasn't going to work out with them. You know, it's like, why did I do that to myself over and over again? Why? It's like, weren't there girls who did like me, who would have put up with me and would have been like happy to be with me? And I just felt like, no, can't make that. It's like too serious. Always too serious. It's like there's that commercial going around that's showing like that clip of the Joker asking Batman, why so serious? And I just feel like that feels like it resonates. It's like, why am I so serious? Stop being so serious. Don't let these icks or these turnoffs be like the and definitely don't keep pursuing people who don't like you back. If they don't like me, just go on, move on. It's like they've determined they don't want anything. If they come back to wanting you later, fine. But whatever's going on with that moment, it's like, let go. Let it go. It's not that important. And there's other, it's like there's other fish in the sea kind of thing. I hate using that term because it sounds so cliche. But even if I die alone, it's like, wouldn't that be better than being with somebody I feel miserable with? I mean, that's at least the excuse I give myself. Shouldn't I put some effort to not be alone? Shouldn't I put some effort into whatever I need to change about myself? I can't change the other person. I don't want to have that kind of mindset of trying to change the other person. But I can change myself. I can change the way I think about things. I can change my own attitude. I can change my own outlook and reasonableness and what I'm willing to do and what I'm willing to break off as being like, okay, that ick list has got to go because it's keeping me in a situation that I don't like being in. So, that makes me think, okay, what else? Like for interesting things about me, it's like, one, it's like this whole idea about religion has been kind of off-putting. I was religious growing up. Or it's like, I went to a church and participated in the Sunday rituals and felt like I was really, it's like at one point, I was just going because I was told to go, and then at another point I went because I actually wanted to go, and I wanted to do all the things, and then it's like I felt like there's something missing. Even with religion and supposedly having a lot of answers, they do lack a lot of things. It's like if the religion is not doing much to help you as an individual, and they're just hoping that you put all the effort in, and they'll just keep going because the members believe enough, like, you're going to do it because we tell you to. It's like there feels something wrong with that, something off-putting, something. It's like you need to put effort back into your members. If it's not a two-way street, like you're not putting as much, like the religion's not putting as much effort into the actual individuals, then it's not doing a good job. Or if it's like you're hoping that just believing is going to do enough for you and that's all you need to do is believe. Well, belief should be followed by actions. And if your actions aren't following, something's missing. Something's wrong. It's kind of like people saying they're Sunday Christians. Like they go they go to church on Sunday, but for the rest of the week they don't have any, like, you wouldn't know that they were a Christian by how they act and do things on their normal everyday. And I'm not saying that's, at least that's something for them, but it's like that they go to church at least on Sunday, but it's like, do they, if it's not like in all you do, then you're, it's like judging other people. It's not what I'm trying to do, because I'm definitely not perfect. I don't do everything I'm supposed to do. I don't do things that I like. And I'm not trying to judge other people who either they just have a different way of looking at things. And again, it's like comes to that ick list. If it's like, oh, they don't believe, if it's like that one thing, like, oh, they just go to church on Sunday. It's like the rest. Now that's an ick for me. I can't be with people who just go to church and that's the only time they act like a Christian is on Sunday. It's like, it just I hate that, like that whole ick thing is just making me go like, don't have an ick list. To take that ick list and just destroy it, shut it up to pieces, because it's not very useful. It's not going to help you get by in life. Now, maybe you need some other reason to form boundaries, but I don't know how this ick list is the right boundaries. Maybe that's what works for some people, but for me, I don't think like that is the right way to determine boundaries. Like they should be more solid and more like it's consistent with, like, it wouldn't matter who you meet, like they're gonna fit these boundaries that you have. Now, I don't know what kind of boundaries. It's like, when you, and I hate to use this as a thing, it's like, when the person does the thing and you're like, oh, don't really like people who do that. Is it the thing? Is it the person? If it's another time in life, am I okay with it? It just happens to be this one time that it seems to be like off-putting. It just makes me wonder, like, what in my experience have I had that's been like those kinds of things? What are real boundaries that I should have? And maybe if I find myself so lonely that I've had so many strong boundaries that I decide that it's better to be alone than have somebody who breaks these boundaries. And it's like that whole, if I feel like being alone is like the most important thing, then that's my boundaries. Like nobody's good enough to be with me. Nobody is good enough. So, well, then I must be alone because I don't like anybody, or nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to fit my boundary. Nobody's going to fit my perfect ideal, whatever it is, set of like what it is, whatever it is. So I think that's the kind of thing I should be like looking at. It's like, okay, cut off the boundaries, shred that boundary list up. Be with somebody, be with anybody like that wants to be with me. I think that consensual nature needs to be there. Like it needs to be both ways. Like they want to be with me, I want to be with them. Because if that doesn't happen, then it really is. It's better off being alone. And I think sometimes we know internally. We know that there's something, like there's a bigger reason why that ick is there, or there's a bigger reason why we don't like this person, or there's a bigger reason why we can. But what triggers it easily and what triggers it like the hard way? It's like, I don't know what I'm getting at there. It's like, cause it seems like I'm wishy-washy on these. Like, do I want to be with somebody or not? Well, if you don't want to be alone, then you gotta be more vulnerable and open to other people, and cut that ick list up, because it's going to tear you. It's going to keep you alone. It's the thing that's keeping you alone, not the people. But I do think that, like, the willingness on the other people has to be like a strong point. I think that is, like, definitely don't chase after people who don't want you. I'm telling myself that, like, not telling anybody else that. I'm telling myself, well, I think it applies to other people too. Like, definitely don't go after people if they don't want you back. But I think there needs to be, like, more willingness, more, like, on my part, like, and to express, hey, well, at least for that part, it's like being more. And I don't know who I would end up with, or who I'd want to end up with. It's like I start getting into that mode of thinking, and it's like I start forming that list again. Perfection, this perfect, this perfect, this perfect, this perfect. And it's like just setting myself up to be alone. And that gives me thought. It's like, what am I putting this out there? Am I trying to put this out there to be like this, to see if anybody responds to this particular thing? It's like, maybe, I don't know. But will I be super disappointed if it doesn't? Maybe, I don't know. And I felt like there's a lot of other things that I just want to go into. But then I'm like, do I feel comfortable? Am I gonna get too long-winded? Am I gonna be too oversharing? Is my computer gonna die on me? Is my camera gonna die on me? If I go too much? If I'm trying to do too much here? I'm looking at my screen over here. It's like just trying to figure out life, and I think that's important. I think that figuring out life is what we're here to do. I don't think there's a set of plans or a set of, like, instructions. People don't know. It's like people who have religion and think that the Bible is a set of instructions. It's a basic blueprint for some things. It doesn't work for everybody. And even the people it's like, did they follow this blueprint? It's like they had instruction all the way from the very beginning. At least if you're following the Bible, like, as an example, and it's like they didn't follow the rules. And so it just makes me go, And yeah, I'm like thinking of specific people without getting into, like, a Bible discussion. I'm not trying to get into that, but it's like if you just go on that basis, like, there is a blueprint, there is a set of instructions. This is what you should do. And why is it so faulty? Why is it so lacking in information? Why do some people think, like, this gives you all the answer, and yet you look at it and you're going, no, it doesn't give you a fraction of the answers that you really need in life. It's like, should I do this? Should I do this? It can maybe give you a guidance on, does this feel right? Does that feel right? And then you go and you do it, and you're like, well, that was completely wrong. Why did I feel good about that choice when it got me into this horrible mess that I should not have listened to? Because if I had thought more critically about it, I wouldn't have gotten into that mess, and I wouldn't have done that thing. It's like, but it felt really good at the moment. It felt really, really good. It's like, was that just a learning experience? And people would write that off as, well, that must have been God teaching you a valuable lesson in life. It's like, what did I learn? Don't trust in this kind of feeling. Like that's what I learned. Um, so it's like if I didn't have that kind of like blueprint, and I went off and I had to test things out on my own. Does this feel right? It's like, what would I go on? And I would probably determine that there's three basic parts of life to base on. Personally, these are the three things that I think I would base things on. It's like, do I get a psychic feeling about it? I believe in the psychic. I believe it's real, and I've had confirmation personal that it's not something that's just my imagination. I can't prove that to other people. I can't prove. Yep, I'm psychic. I can read this. I can read that, because it's not something that I can rely on all the time. It's like sometimes it is just my imagination. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it is an actual psychic feeling. But is it okay? Well, that leads me into the other point. It's like, can I think about it rationally? Is there proof that this, whatever it feels like, does it have some kind of, is there some mental rational to it, or can I logically work it out? And then here's the third is the heart part. It's like, do I feel it in my heart? Because what does that feel like versus the psychic feeling? It's a different kind of intuition. I'm not saying intuition is more like the psychic thing, and then like the heart, does it feel pleasurable? Does it feel good? Does it feel like, you don't want to just go after pleasure, because there's lots of things that are pleasurable that you end up regretting after you do them. It's like lots of things that are pleasurable that just, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but lots of food that I eat that really tasted good, but it didn't really sit well in my stomach. Maybe I should like stop doing that thing, because it's like, and test out the different things, okay, that not only taste good but feel good, and they actually do well for you. It's like there's things on that nature. It's like, and not trust what other people are saying, because my own whatever's going on is different than what they're going through, and body types are different, and how much, like an active person versus an inactive person will have a different, all these things. It's like you can, I feel like I'm jumping around, but it's like I'm trying not to get too specific and not trying to be like too vague. And I feel like I'm bouncing around because I'm jumping between the two. Like I'm getting very specific, and then don't get too specific, and then get not too vague. It's like, that's what I feel like I'm doing. But yeah, those three aspects I think are important. Now, that psychic thing for me is like developing a sort of connection that's deeper than just something that's logical. But there should be, logic should be able to help me prove that the psychic is something there, not just, because there are times when I just feel like there's something there, and then the logic doesn't prove it, or the logic proves otherwise, or the logic goes against it. It's like so for me, I feel like those three things are super important. Like, in testing those things out, so like the Bible doesn't say anything about psychic, but for me, I've found that out, that's something that's very real, something that's very helpful, something that's it's like, why isn't it in the Bible? Why isn't things like this? And there's another aspect of like soothsayers and stuff like that. like that kind of thing is in the Bible, and it does have a definite thing like do not chase after these. And yet, yeah, there are lots of times when there have been like people that they. So me saying that it's not in the Bible and then going, well, there's lots of times. There's things that can be interpreted a different way if you look at it certain. So maybe it is there, but only if you know about. It's kind of like hidden knowledge, I guess, maybe. But I hate getting into that too, because if the logic isn't there, if I can't, and it's something that you have to look at personally, like this is what works for me. It may not work for you. But things like that. And if it all comes down to, I've tried all these and it still ends up like I'm alone. It's like, so be it. I guess that's what I am really supposed to be. I'm supposed to be alone. Because there's some things that you feel like letting yourself be too vulnerable, and then you're open to the bad things in life that you really feel like that wasn't what I wanted. That wasn't what it's like. I don't know how to put this in a like be vulnerable and yet restricted vulnerability. It's like what it's like how do you know how what level what point is too much, how much is whatever that is. But I think that's people's. I need to figure that out. If I can't figure that out, then I am going to be alone. And it is going to be my own mental health problem, and it is going to be my own hell on earth. And that's just like to escape that. And I think that's like working on the mental part. I think if I feel like I'm in hell here, it's going to be hell no matter where I am. Because I think the mindset is that's what you really take with you when you, like whatever body you're in, whatever period, like if you feel like you're reincarnated, then it's the mind that stays with you. Even if it's blanked out, it still feels like there's the same patterns that develop. That's if you believe in that. Or if you believe in like there's an afterlife, isn't that the same as a type of reincarnation? And it's like people who talk about what's the word? I can't. It's like they die, they see the afterlife, and then they come back, kind of thing. Like there's a word for it. I can't think of it. But like, what experience are they giving, and does that seem real to what I think life is? And I think in some aspect there's something there even getting wrong. Because I think this life is like the easy life, and like the afterlife is like the real hard work that we're gonna have to do. Like we're here developing the mindset so that we can be better in the life after. Like this is not reality. Like this is just a simulation, so to speak. Like a lot of people have said things along those lines. Like there's too much that feels simulated. And if I treat this life like this is the practice ground to develop that mentality, then yes, I do want to feel mentally stable, mentally secure, and mentally able to do a lot of things. That's skill sets that are more important, not money, not popularity, not I mean, like, that's a skill set as well, developing popularity, I guess. Um, but for some people, it seems to happen too easy. Like, and they don't handle the popularity very well. Or it happens too quickly, like you just got dropped into it and now you have to deal with it and you kind of mess it up a lot. That's what I'm seeing with a lot of people. It's like I think I would rather develop the mental skills and the mental abilities before becoming popular, so that if, when, and whatever, if popularity does happen, then I'm able to still be myself and not whatever the popularity wants. Not just be whatever anybody else wants. Like, be what I want to be. Like, be secure enough in myself that I stay myself. And I think that's kind of what proves wrong with a lot of people when they have the mental breakdowns, when they have the popularity. It's like, it seems like they think that, at least my perception going off, it's like, it feels like they're being too much of what other people want instead of what they want to be. So that disconnect and that mental problems they have to jump through to be themselves, and it feels hard when you just want to keep being the popular person, or if you're driven by money and the money keeps coming in and you keep doing things to keep getting the money, and you find that the money is what's driving you more than what you feel like you should be doing yourself. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, the mind is the most important thing, not the money amount, and definitely not being motivated by these things. I think that motivation is good, like having some motivation to do anything, not just sit there and do nothing. But I think the mindset itself is the more important than, like, all these people talking about mental health and all the things they're doing to try to work on their mental health seems to not be working for them. And it's like, is it working for me? Do I feel like I have strong mental health? Do I feel miserable all the time? Do I feel like I just can't be anything other than miserable? Do I feel like the misery is the most important part of my life? Like, that's what defines me, is my misery? Do I feel like I'm looking for reasons to be miserable? You know, like, I don't want to look for reasons to be miserable. I want to look for reasons to find joy in life, to find things that are enjoyable, pleasurable. And sometimes that means like the whole, like, going to the gym, you're working out, it's hard, but the results are good. It's like, there's things like that. There's so many things like that. Like the actual process feels difficult, but the end result is so much better. I feel like I've said that a lot, but I feel like the mental, that is the more important thing. Working on that mindset. Working on what makes me me, what are the aspects that work, so that I can find joy in. Like, it comes, I guess, like, organically, and it's the effects feel longer lasting. Yeah, I feel like that is the most important thing. I feel like that's, like, really the only thing. Mindset, mental health. Work on that. Be that. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there. I feel like that's enough.